Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
And we've got a super show for you tonight. We've got a whole panel of guests. Many of these you'll have seen before. They're joining us again. Starting over in the corner, we've got Hoppo. Hey, Hoppo.
Hello. Hello,
And
everyone.
then down bottom, joining us for their second show, each one is Tom. Hey up, Tom.
Hello, guys. You all right?
And Al is joining us from Canada again. Hey up, Al. I believe you're snowed in, but you've got time to come on to Stoke Fan TV.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just like I said, we've got maybe a couple inches here, so it's really nothing, but just the same. Yeah. All the support.
Just a couple of inches of snow, nothing. But as I say, if that happens in Britain, the trains stop, everything shuts down, with the country goes in meltdown. But no, thanks for joining in with the show tonight. Now, before we start, a couple of things from me. First things first, if you are watching this video, would you do us a massive favor and hit the like button? Because we get a lot of people not hitting the like button and watching not hitting the like button, and also hit the subscribe button as well, because we've been a bit short recently on new subscribers. So we'd really appreciate, however you're watching it on YouTube, hitting those two buttons, the like button and the subscribe button. Pause the video for us and do that if you would. Secondly, this video, again, for the second week running, is sponsored by Match Bingo. Now, Match Bingo, if you don't know what it is, it combines the thrill and excitement of sport with bingo. And basically, you've got kind of a card, and on this card, certain things like free kicks and corners, they turn them into like a bingo style game. You can find out more about that from the link in our description. And in the corner of the screen, you've got a QR code, so you can just go up and scan that. And if you are going to have a go, then please use that link or that scannable QR code, because they will know that you've gone through us. Over 18s only and UK only. So yeah, sponsored again. Happy days. Right, on with tonight's show. Fresh off a win, but as we've been doing quite a lot of shows where we just kind of talk about if Stoke are going to avoid relegation, I think that's just been the name of the channel now. Are Stoke going to avoid relegation this year? Rather than talk about that again, I think it's high time we spoke about some of the players who are out of contract at the end of the season. Now, I have a bit of a list, and we will go through that, but I do want to just briefly throw it into the room that obviously off the back of a 3-1 win at the weekend, does anyone have any thoughts on that to begin with? Who wants to start us off? We'll speak about that for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into the players who are out of contract in the summer. Who's going to kick us off?
Go on then. I don't mind. Desperate win,
Yes, Hoppo.
much needed. Yeah, I thought it was good performance. They turned up, didn't they? QPR didn't really create a great deal. Like we were saying before the show, it was a good, solid defensive performance as well. I know they got a few injuries, but everyone to man gave a good shift. Could have won by more. There's a couple of other good opportunities. We didn't quite take Millie and had that chance after. So it could have been a lot more real. But yeah, it was pleasing. It looked like the confidence is growing now and the belief, and you can see things are slowly changing under Robbins. So it's going to give him a good confidence boost going into the Saturday. So if we can win the Saturday, it's going to look a completely different picture. So yeah, it was really pleasing.
Well, that will be the question. Alan or Tom, I don't know what to take this one. Can we string two wins together?
I think so. I really think we can. I mean, let's admit it. Our backs are against the wall right now. And you don't want to see a club of Stoke stature, going down to the third division. That's definitely not, we just don't want it. We just don't want to go there. We don't want to go to relegation. I mean, I think, kind of like we alluded to earlier too, is there's a lot of quality in the club. There's no question. It's just getting everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, as well as, Robbins is now understanding what he has in his toolbox, right? So he knows, what to use against which club. I don't think we're going to get relegated. I think we're going to string together. I'm hoping, we can win at least half of the games left this season and draw a couple more out of there as well. I really think we're going to end up in a lower mid table this year. I mean, it's just I really think that everybody's going to put their mustard on it here. I don't. That's just my opinion, which is worth $1.50. So,
Mate, well, that's all very positive. Son, would you agree with that? Are you feeling positive after the weekend, or are you thinking not so more deja vu, or what are you thinking?
I see that I did. I was very bored at the weekend, very bored. I did one of those, like you can fill in all the results for every single game that's coming up until the end of the season. I'd got us down as losing this weekend, and I think I wanted that to be as in a bit of reserve. Preston are quite good at home. They've just gone on a very decent cup run. And that first half against Villa at the weekend, they looked solid. Second half's a different story, but I think Preston are a side that we can't underestimate. If we can go there, grab a point, I'll be more than happy with that.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a Preston away, Sam, is a point away, as Tom just said there. Is that reasonable, or were you expecting us after that result the weekend, a 3-1 home win, to go and push on?
I'd like to see Stoke win at Preston. I'd be happy with a point. But yeah, I think we should go out and try and win it, to be honest with you. We're at the bottom of the table, still close enough to the relegation zone to be worried about it. We need to go there and try and win the game, but I'd still be happy with a point.
Do you know what was nice about the win of the weekend? It was nice to see Bae Ho and Million Manhoof performing on those wings. It was also nice to see Gallagher up top and Baker, obviously, in that number 10 role. What I'm getting at is it was nice to see a squad of players where we didn't really see a huge amount of loanees. I'm not knocking the loanees. I'm not knocking them at all. But it was nice to see players that we've signed, playing in that team and us not thinking, oh, what's going to happen when these loan players bugger off at the end of the season. And we will do a show where we talk about all the loanees that we've got and who we're going to keep hold of. But as the name of the show suggests, we need to go through, I think, now some of the players that are leaving or out of contract. Sorry, not leaving, out of contract in the summer. So I'll start with one of who I consider to be one of the more important ones, and that's Baker. So we'll start with Baker. Now, I don't know who to throw it to. Do you know what? I'll throw it to Sam first. We'll go backwards now. Sam, Baker. Obviously in the summer, he's out of contract. He's 29 years old. He's obviously playing in that central midfield attacking role. Would you offer Baker another contract, Sam? Do you think he's one of these players that we need to keep hold of?
100%. Baker is the best signing of the January transfer window. If we let Baker go now, we're daft.
Yeah. Feel free other people to jump in on this. I won't stop you. If we've got something to say, just jump in.
My only reservation with Baker, I'll play devil's advocate here. The only reservation with Baker is I think he's easily the best midfielder at the club at the moment. However, he's also in the last 6 months of his contract. And we've seen this before with Baker, where when he's in the last 6 months of his contract, he's like prime Zidane. But when he gets that new contract and he's comfy and he's settled, he drops off and he gets loans out to clubs like Blackburn. And we recall him because we need somebody. He's in the last 6 months of his contract again. He'll play incredibly again. Will we end up in another situation where it's just another wage on a player that isn't, I'm not going to say fully committed, I'm not going to question his commitments, but I'm going to say gets 2-year extension, is comfortable, and then hasn't got anything to really fight for. That's my only main reservation. That's my worry. And I'm only playing that as devil's advocate. Personally, I'd take it. It's worth the risk.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he's on weekly, and I don't know. I don't know for any of the players that we're going to discuss what he's on weekly. Would you consider him to be one of the more important ones we need to keep? Or what do you think to this, Al?
Yeah, I like Baker, but much like what exactly what Tom said. The last time Baker got his contract, he started, slacking off and just not playing like we knew he was capable of. But I mean, I don't know how much of that we can attribute to, potentially a little bit of immaturity at the time. I mean, that was how long was his last contract? Was it 3 year or was it I think it
I
was a
think it
3 year.
was two. I think it was
Was it
27.
three? Okay. So maybe we don't know. I mean, maybe he's matured slightly, but I think with Baker, he needs to have a little bit more of that leadership role in the team. He needs to feel a sense of responsibility, and that's when you start seeing, I think, the best out of Baker. Now, and I think you're exactly right, Tom, that in the last 6 months of his contract, he turns it on. And a lot of players actually do. That's not an uncommon thing, right? They either want to, be signed by another team or re-signed by their existing club with, and get a big fat raise. The reality is I think with Baker, I think he wants to stay at Stoke. I don't think he wants to travel on. I think he's a quality midfielder. Is he the best that we could hope for? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I think he's worth a 2 year contract, being that that if things aren't working out, he would be fairly easy to loan out, and recoup some of that salary, his weekly. But again, you don't sign a player to a contract with the intent to loan him out, especially a mature player like Baker. But I think Baker is a keep, depending on the money.
Oh, you've listened to now what most of us have said. I'll do that bit again. Hopper, you've listened to what most of us have said, and I remember that when he did come back, you were particularly excited about his return.
Mm.
Would you keep him? I mean, it's one of these for me where how much would we pay for somebody like Baker if we wanted to get Baker? How much would we
Depends
pay for him? Is he worth a new contract?
what he's asking for, really. That's the key thing here. If he wants something, it depends on what he's actually asking for. He's asking for silly money, then no. If he's asking for in the region of probably what he's getting now, I agree with that. I totally agree with what Tom says, and I agree with what Alan said. I think they made some good points. Yeah, he's definitely on his day. He could be fantastic. That ball for the third goal on Saturday, that
Mm.
pass was
Yeah.
superb. That's, textbook Baker, the goal against Swansea. He's definitely a talented lad. I think he's worth taking a punt on, because I think Alan's probably made a good point that he's loanable out, so you can kind of recoup it from him. So I just like him. I think he typifies what we need at Stoke battle. He's got that battling, that determination, and he's the type of player who can have a quiet game and he can win you the game with a bit of skill. So yeah, for me, I think unless he's asking really silly money, I'd be offering another contract, definitely.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll do a vote. Hands up who would keep Baker? Who would offer him a contract? 5 out of 5. That's not bad. That's not bad going. If you're watching this Baker, give us a like and a subscribe, will you, mate? Because we've all put our hands up to keep you. And let us know in the comments. The first one to say was Baker. I just thought he was quite an important figure in that midfield area, and I do think attacking wise, and dead ball specialists as well.
Mm-hmm.
He can whip a ball into the box quite, and he likes a shot from distance, as we saw not that long ago. Right, sticking around that area of the pitch, a young lad, Tessal. We mentioned him in the last show. We said should he maybe get some game time? He wasn't even on the bench, I don't think, was he, at the weekend? He's out of contract at the end of in the summer as well. Are we thinking Tessal? Who wants to start us off with Tessal? Shall we offer him a contract? Yes or no?
I'll go. Yeah, we've got to. We've got to. Have you seen how he's been doing on the under-21s over the last few weeks? He scored something like 9 goals in 2 games. He's on fire. I think we need to play it right with him. We need to offer him a good few years, but there needs to be a proviso that he gets loaned out to similar to what we did with Lowe this season, but we keep him out there. Somebody in League Two, somebody we know can look after him. I mean, we've got good ties with Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury had Tyrese when Tyrese Campbell was with us on loan. Set him up pretty well. He's banging him in for Sheffield United now. They're definitely going down to League Two. They want bounce back. Close enough. Tessal seems like a perfect fit for him for me. I'd say keep him, loan him out to someone like a Shrewsbury, and just try and further his progression a bit.
Yeah. Anyone else want to pick up on that? Like the fact maybe we could get him to sign another contract and then straight out on loan, or anyone else got any thoughts?
I think it'll be hard to stop the Premier League teams from looking at him and potentially trying to get him at the end of his contract with his record in the under-21s. I think if we can keep him and get another contract, that'll be great for the future. But I think there'll be some bigger teams come knocking for him, to be honest.
Do you think anyone else got that view that maybe a higher team would come and snap him up?
I think if that's not low, yeah. Sorry, Alan. Go on.
No. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we haven't got Nathan Lowe, I think, yeah, somebody high up would snap him up. But I think the fact that Lowe has gone out to Walsall and has done so well, admittedly, he's come back and he's not looked like he's hit the ground running straight away. But the fact that he's gone out to a lower league and done so well, I think a bigger club would look at him before Tessal, and that'll kind of keep Emre in a bit of a shadow, which for us is great because I can't see Lowe with us in 12 months' time, but I can see Tessal there.
Yeah, I'm really on the fence with Tessal, to be fair. You look at his performance. The last time he was out on loan, that was at MK Dons, I believe, right?
Yeah.
His performances there were, pretty kind of bang average. But what was he, 17 or 18 years old when he was on loan at Dons?
Yeah, he wasn't very old at all. He's not 19 or so now, something like that.
Yeah, so obviously he still has a couple of years to mature yet. I like the kid. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a quality player. But I'm trying to look as well at Stoke's immediate finances as well, right? You look at a player like Tessal, and what is a new contract going to be worth for him? What is his agent going to look for out of that contract? Is it going to be a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year? What the conditions would be around that. I mean, we can only guess at that, but the reality is there's going to be some players that are out of contract at the end of this season that I don't know if Stoke so much wants to move them on, but may have to move them on. And much like you said, Sam, the bigger clubs may come knocking, right? So if we have any prem teams like Fulham or somebody that comes after him and says, hey, look, here's a bunch of money. Do you get rid of them? And I know you don't want to sell your youth because they are the future of the club for the most part, but realistically, when you take away the emotions of football and you look at it as a business, you have a profit and loss statement to manage, and the Coates family has that P&L. If a big enough offer came in for Tessal, I think I would let him go. Because I don't think he's going to see first team action here next year. He obviously, if he goes out on loan, he'll get first team action. But if he does not go out on loan, I think his opportunities at Stoke, depending on what happens in the offseason with, Al Hamadi or whatever happens with the number 9 for us, I can't see Tessal breaking into the team next year, and I don't think he wants to wait. That's just my personal opinion. You can kind of see it in his face. You can kind of read his emotions.
Yeah.
I watched a little video yesterday of the guys working out just at Clayton Wood. They're kind of a low day or whatever they call it, where they just chill out. And you could just see it on Tessal's face. He just doesn't look happy at the club. He's not getting the game time. And when you're young, you want that game time. You want the opportunities to prove yourself, even if it's 5 minutes, right? You want the opportunity to be out of the pitch and actually get your foot on the ball.
Well, he seems to be playing quite a lot for the under-21s, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, granted, I mean, the under-21s, it's obviously a very different game than playing on a pitch full of men, right? I
Mm.
mean, it's a slightly different game. And Tezgal's still not the biggest boy. I mean, he's still, he's thin as a rail. He needs to pack on a little bit of beef and muscle on there. But like I say, I wouldn't be upset if we lost him for a decent fee. I'd be right upset if we lost him for a crap fee because I think he's worth some decent money. And if we can capitalize on that and put that money towards a more proven striker.
Well,
They wouldn't be able to get any money though for him. With him running out of contract, they wouldn't be able to buy him. They'd just be getting him. So it would come down to a personal decision on Tezgal's behalf, as you say, if he's happy, if he'd prefer to go to the Prem team, it'd come down to him a bit.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would do. One of the questions, just quickly, sorry to interrupt you. He's homegrown lad, isn't he? Homegrown player. Come through. That's an unusual thing at Stoke at times. Is that something that would play a role in him staying, in people wanting him to stay? Hopper, what do you think to that? Homegrown lad. He's one of our own. They sing at the ground, obviously. Is that going to make it? Is that going to play a role?
Yeah, I think it's going to make definitely one of the factors consideration. If he's happy at the club, he supports the club. But for me, it all comes down to the conversations with Mark Robbins, what he's saying. Mark Robbins says, "You're in my plans, you're in my future," and I think he'll probably be tempted to stay because he's a young lad, but obviously he's going to know himself. He's not the finished product, So is he ready for a Premiership club? I think probably deep down he probably knows that he's not. He's only going to go and sit on the bench or be in reserves or more under-21 football for a long time. So I think it's those judgment calls. Probably use it influential in his life. I think he's a Blair Bridge lad. I believe his dad has a big influence in his career. So possibly, I think for me, it's going to be the conversation with Mark Robbins. If Mark Robbins says, "Here are my plans. I want you to be part of the club. You have got a future. You will get your time. So you have to be patient." Then I think they'll probably want to sign a contract, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's the way I see it going. Depends on what Mark Robbins says.
Do you know it's a good talking point, Tezgal? But no doubt we'll get back to it again. I'm sure many of you watching have got your thoughts on Tezgal and whether he should sign a new contract, whether you want him to sign a new contract or not. Gents, before we move on to the next one, could we all just do a quick vote? Hands up, yes or no, keeping offer Tezgal a new contract, yes or no? I'm a yes. Ooh, 3 yeses, 2 no's. There you go. We get it. So there's a few bits of a division there. Right. On to the next one. According to this website, Lyndon Gooch out of contract in the summer. Now, what do we think to Lyndon Gooch? What's happened to Gooch? Is he injured?
Yeah, was.
Yeah, okay. Now, Lyndon Gooch is the same age as Baker. He's 29 years old. He kind of doesn't seem to have one locked in position like the last 2 players that we've spoken about. He seems to play at left back, then right back, then central midfield, then left wing, then left attacking mid, then right forward. I don't know. He seems like he could potentially do a job in goal if we didn't have seven keepers. Right. Okay. What do we think to Gooch? Who wants to start us up on that one? Should Gooch get offered a new contract in summer or not? Don't all jump in. Go on, Tom. I can see you there. You got your hand behind your head. I know you want to start us off.
But what do we think to Gooch is really sick and never fails to amuse me. I don't rate Gooch at all. I'm going to call him Lyndon for the rest of this, just for my own. I don't rate him. I think, yes, he can play in multiple positions. Ultimately, he's the reason playing at left wing that Schumacher got sacked, because if you believe all of that, because he's not a left winger. He's not good enough to be left back, I don't think. I wouldn't touch him at right back. I definitely wouldn't put him in goal. I, if we take him, we're buying somebody who's just going to sit on the bench. And I think the state club's in, like Alan said, the finances. It's not. It's a dead wage. I think it'd be silly of the club to offer him a contract. I don't think he's good enough level anymore either, which is a whole other story. But yeah, Gooch can go for me.
Yeah, he
That's
played some
interesting.
decent, I think some decent football under Alex Neil, but of course that was that Sunderland connection, right? Um, Ever since Alex Neil was gone, Gooch has been non-present, right? Just in my opinion, and in his defense, he gets bumped around from position to position. He's all over the pitch. He doesn't, it's hard to be consistent in your own game when you're not playing a consistent position. Right. I mean, so I understand that, and that is defensible. However, that being said, I don't see Gooch as being key to Stoke's success for next season. I don't see him as being the one that we're going to say, oh yeah, he's the guy. He's going to be one of the guys that's going to be key to carry us through. He is versatile. I mean, that is nice, but he's always a moderate player. You never see an amazing performance out of him, very rarely. And you don't see any really, really crappy performances out of him. But when you look at him as a middle of the road player, I find him below that level slightly. You know what I'm saying? He makes some mistakes. He makes some bad, makes some poor decisions. He does give the ball away. You can't knock his effort. I mean, he does give it. He does put the effort in, but I don't think Gooch is a new contract guy. I think he goes bye-bye.
Okay, so that's interesting. Now, because I want to bring in Sam. Sam, you quite like Gooch, don't you, mate? So I want to get your opinion on this one.
I like Gooch. I think he's a good player, but he hasn't got the consistency that we need. Completely echo what Alan and Tom said, really. He's not going to be the star player that Stoke need next season. He hasn't done enough for me recently to warrant staying. Completely agree about him playing better under Alex Neil. When we first got him, he was better than he has been recently. I wouldn't be offering Gooch a new contract, but I'd be saying thank you very much for his effort. I don't think he's really done anything majorly wrong. I can't really say that I've seen him make any mistakes that have cost us games. I just don't think he's on the right level now that we need.
Is he not a squad player? Is he not a good squad player? Hoppo, is he? What do you think?
Yeah, he is, because he's versatile, isn't he? Like you said, he's very versatile. He'll do a job. He'll play anywhere. If you ask him to go and goal, he'll go and goal, and he'd give 100%. And he has had some decent games in the past when we've needed him. It's made a difference. I don't think he's ever shown outstanding, but he's done a job. He's given you 100%, and that's all you can ask, really. He is versatile. If he was struggling, he'd fit in. So, but is there better players ahead of him? Yes, I think there is, and I think Sam's has made a good point that since he's got injured, he got injured, didn't he? He's been in and out of the team, and he's not been really consistent. So I think there's better players ahead of him, and I think we've got to bear in mind we've got a new head of recruitment now, who hopefully will be lining up other players. So maybe Robbins has got something in the back of his mind that, but we're replacement, or they're looking at somebody else. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think that might be completely wrong, but I don't think he'll probably be one of the ones to be off the contract anyway. I don't think he's Robbins kind of player.
Right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a vote on this. I'll take a vote. So Gooch is quite. It seems like Gooch is quite a bit of a. Well, it's not necessarily looking positive, but hands up. Who would offer Gooch a new contract in the summer?
Sorry, Lyndon.
Whoa.
Sorry, Lyndon ain't going to be liking and subscribing to the channel, is he? So
No.
sorry about that, mate. Unbelievable. Right,
Thumbs on the
listen,
stone, we can change your mind.
listen, everybody. Right, I'll just say this: we're nearing the end of the show, so I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to stick a pin in it, right, and then we'll have to put this down as part one, right, and then we'll have to all convene and do part two on a show in a couple of weeks. What would you be up for that, chaps?
Yep.
We've got the same panel because
But
we're about halfway through the list. There's some other names on there. Obviously, there's just quickly, and we won't necessarily vote on them, but I've got down obviously Jordan Thompson, Michael Rose, Jack Bonham, Ender Stevens, and Frank Fielding. So they're the other ones that we need to go through. But I think that we'll potentially do that in another show because people have got lives and people have got things that they want to do. Anyway, honestly, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in tonight's show. So we'll do the rounds, but first, like I said, this show has been sponsored by Match Bingo. Match Bingo is the blend of sports with the thrill of bingo, and you can download the app. You've got different cards that get filled in, free kicks, corners, things like that are happening in the match. Check it out. There's a link in our description. There's a QR code in the corner. We're happy to be sponsored by them. Have you had a go on it yet, Sam? Have you had a go and won anything?
I haven't. I'm going to have a go. Is there an option to put a yellow card on Ben Pearson's head before a game?
Well, that's a surefire one, mate. That's a surefire one. They want to mix it up. Don't forget, everybody. It's over 18s and UK only. So we just mentioned that. But if you are going to have a go, QR code or the link in the description. Right, gentlemen, we've got a couple of minutes left. Are there any thoughts from any of you, just on what we've spoken about tonight, or Stoke in general, just before we wrap up? Anybody got anything else to say? No.
Win on Saturday. We're going to win a win on Saturday.
Yeah, well, let's do that then. Let's just have a quick.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a quick prediction. Let's just do round the houses. We've got a couple of minutes. Saturday's game against Preston. Hoppo, win, draw, loss.
I'm hoping win. Preston are playing now, aren't they, as we speak? And I think they've just had a goal disallowed. They could do with them winning that. So what I'm hoping for, this is my hope, that they get absolutely shattered tonight, get a few injuries, so they won't tell by the time we play them on Saturday, and we play to the level how we did. We'll have another performance how we did on Saturday. And I mean, we have won that a few times. It hasn't been a bad ground for us.
Okay.
So, yeah, you know what? I'll be positive. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Okie dokie. Tom, what do you reckon? I think you've already kind of hinted, but what's your prediction?
Completely forgot they were playing tonight. That changes everything. Ooh.
Oh,
What else?
0-0 at the moment.
1-0.
They've had a goal
Honestly,
disallowed
love
just
it.
Preston.
Love it. 1-1. Al, what do you reckon? What's the overriding feeling in Canada about the Preston game?
I think our team's going to show up. I'm going for a 2-0 Stoke win.
Nice.
I really think the defense is going to show up again. I think Johansson's going to have his typical stellar game, but I think Al Hamadi coming back. I think like you said, Tom, it's a good ground for us. I think maybe as you Max said it, but it is a good ground for us. So I'm saying 2-0 Stoke.
2-0 Stoke. Right, I like that.
Yeah, I'll keep this one. I'll keep this one quick because I know we're short on time. 2-0 Stoke. I think we'll win that one 2-0.
You're thinking 2-0? Luminate. I think I predicted a while ago. I think I predicted a draw, and I'm forever the optimist, so I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so I don't know whether it'll be a nil. I'm hoping for a 0-0. We'll see. We'll see. Just come on, Stoke. Don't mess this up now. Don't you come off the back of 3-1. Don't go get beat. That's the main thing. Right, we'll quickly do round the houses. We've got less than a minute left. So it's a goodbye from me. I'll go that way.
Goodbye from me.
Down
Goodbye
to
for me.
Al, and to Tom.
Goodbye from me.
And finishing off.
Bye from me.
There you go. And we will see you all on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV.